How far?
I'm in the Trading Hub live session.
So we only deal with day trades. Yesterday, market decided not to come for our entry. And the reason is quite simple, because it did not break structure. Remember, I said yesterday that this area is only valid. Let me come back here. I said it yesterday that this area is only valid if we get a break of structure. Now, it has tried multiple times, but it has failed to break structure. It only swept liquidity, and that is not enough for this entry to be valid. So it's coming down here. It's my old, it's my not old. So I'm not really seeing any setup for now on this pair. So it might eventually break here and come back for this higher time frame demand here. You can see there are two higher time frame demands at the bottom. But it would have made sense if there was a break of structure. This would have held properly. But then let's see what the market decides to do. But for now, I don't see, it might buy, it might not buy. This setup is 50-50 at the moment because there's no break of structure yet. So let's just see what the market decides to do today. But then this is only very valid. This is only very valid if we get a break of structure first. That is what makes this valid. But if it does not get, if we don't get a break of structure, then it might not hold, and it might hold is 50-50 at that point in time. But the probability increases if we get a break of structure first before price comes for this other block. So let's quickly get to the next one. Basically, the AUD pairs are not really giving me what I'm looking for. They are not getting to the supply and they are not getting to the demand. So it's just in between. So this is a perfect example of what I was saying yesterday. So it's a perfect example. Remember, I said that it has to break structure. It did not break structure. You see it. It didn't break structure. So that's why it did not hold. It is the similar vibe to that AUD card. If you don't get a break of structure, it might not hold. See, a perfect example. So I thank God you did not even go far before I saw a perfect example. If you don't get a break of structure, those are some of my rules. So normally, if I don't see a break of structure after this movement, after like this movement for this origin to be very valid, then it will not work. And that's exactly what happened. So I did not place this order yesterday. If not, I would have hit a sale. A very sweet one. Do you understand? So always follow your rules. If your rules don't align, then don't place that order. If there's no alignment with your rule, always make sure that everything is in check before you place that order. If I had placed this order, I would have hit a sale. The similar vibe here, similar, it might not hold because there's no break of structure. There's no break of structure. It's 50-50. It can decide to hold and it can decide not to. But that's just what I've seen over a couple of years now. So then the next is Cat Chef. This one went for the higher time frame area. You can see a very clear entry. This is a 4 hours order block, and this is the 1 hour order block, which it came for nicely and currently moving. So you would have had something like this. You would have had something like this. So even though this is the overall target, someone like me that was looking for 3 hours, I was already out because I caught this one. It already took me out at 3 hours. It already took me out around here because my target was 3 hours for this trade. But it's still running though. If I wanted to re-enter, I would have re-entered here also. But then I've already gotten my 3 hours, so nothing concerns me with the market. That is my own trading rule. If yours is 5 hours, if yours is 6 hours, if yours is 10 hours, no problem. But mine is 3 hours, and I'm already out of this profitable trade. So I just say, let me show you. But then it's my old, it's my not old. It becomes 50-50. Once price starts testing your entries multiple times, it becomes risky. But then the market is very dynamic. But this is a 4 hours order block, and this is a 1 hour order block, which you picked nicely. Do you get so? But then I don't see anything for now, except the trend just wants to continue. And with this multiple rejection, it's supposed to continue moving down, at least to this place, at least back to this area. I don't know what the market is doing at the moment. Let me check the fundamentals. Is there anything? There's only one thing on card. But then I expect the price to still come back here, sure. Normally, it should sell. It should sell because it's in alignment with the higher time frame trend. You can see that's a break here. And there's another break here. And it came back. So it's supposed to sell normally. But then it's not my daddy's market. But then you can still join the sell, though. It still looks good. Then the next one is KJPY. So this one too is giving similar vibe. Even though I caught the buy to this area on my personal trade, which I shared on the group this morning. So I caught this buy around here. I caught the buy around here. And this was how I caught it. Remember the break of structure, there must be a proper break of structure. Let me just show you the buy. So there was a shift here. There was a break here. There was another break here. So it came back nicely for this other block. See this one here. That was what it came back for. This one, that's what it came back for. And this was the inducement to that entry. So I always do what works and I repeat it every day and it works for me. You can see it came back for it. Then I targeted this entry point here, this other block, and that was where it came from. And that was how I caught that. But then on the higher time frame, can see very confused market. Very, very confused market. So you just have to be very careful. But then it looks most likely to sell at the moment. You can clearly see there's so much rejection. It means that the sellers are trying so hard to push the market to the downside. So with this rejection, now we might see price get towards this area. So if you are trading on like the 5 or 15 minutes, you might be looking to sell back to this point. And you should be getting good around for it. So let me see. So if at all you wanted to join, you could have joined back around here. And this will be your target. This will be your target. But let's see what the market decides to do. You can see after this break, came back for this area. So this is where you have probably entered from this point. And your target will be here. But that's from catch if I'll try not to spend too much time today. But then there's mad volume in the market today. There's good volume. The market is moving nicely. These ones were the ones I caught yesterday. Multiple 3 hour truths. Very simple treats. Let me, don't have problem with that for now, so I can delete that. Got 6 hour on that. If you know what you are doing, you would always stay profitable, and that's just the beta truth. Just follow the trend, identify the structure, identify valid points of interest, have your trading rule to follow, and you are good to go. See this one. So supposed to come for this one. I still feel like to come back for this shot. And this is another one. So those are 2 points of interest I'll be looking out for, because I can clearly see a mini uptrend structure around it. So if at all I'm planning to enter a trade, this will serve as an inducement, obviously. So I should have something like this. So either I mark it together and I target here, I should still get 3 RM. So instead of having 2 trades, you can just have something like this. Instead of having 2 trades, if you go to your 30 to be together, you can see very valid. Very valid. But if you want to be aggressive, you can have like 7 RM. If you want to be aggressive, this looks valid too. 6 RM, this looks valid too. But if you want to be conservative, you can combine them together and have 3 point something RM. So let's see what the market decides to do today. But this is a good one. It's aligned with the trend, has created a mini uptrend, created an inducement for itself, and those 2 other blocks are actually valid. So let's see what the market decides to do. Like I said, it's not my daddy's market. I always try to see what it will do, then I'll react to what the market decides to do. But this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. Let's see what happens. And then the next one is Euro card. See this one, okay. But I have something down on the 1 hour chart. Does it come for it? And did it just come from my entry? I had something on 1 hour here. Let me delete this first. And there's a reason why this did not hold, because of this area. Once there are too many points of interest, I'm always very skeptical. But I didn't place this order too, because I was skeptical. It didn't really give me, it was too rough, kind of. It didn't really give me what I was looking for, because there's an origin here too. Okay, I knew I had something on it. I hasn't got something. I knew I had something on the 1 hour. This is a very valid setup. I think I shared it on the group yesterday. I'm very sure I did yesterday night. This is a very valid buy. Very, very valid.
I don't see my card I finish.
So we have something like this. So these are its Arab setup. So this is a valid 8 Arab setup. I'm replacing this though. It fits all the major metrics for me. There's multiple breaks, so definitely, and there's an inducement. So this should hold. Except the market decides to be mad. This is a setup that should definitely hold. So this one now is like an A+ setup because it fits most of my criteria. Valid order block, multiple breaks, inducements. Everything is already there. Therefore, there's literally nothing on this crazy pair. After I did this movement yesterday, I already closed. I closed this in 3 hours. Like I said, me, I always work with 3 hours. Nothing concerns me with 10, 20. Although I will show you the setup. The setup might be giving you 10, 12, 8, 5, 6 hours. But then best believe that I'm already out at 3 hours. But then why I feel like the market is coming back for these 2 points of interest. If at all I want to buy, I'll be looking at either of those 2 points of interest, because they both have multiple breaks after it. And there's obviously inducement for that entry. This has already been mitigated, so don't get excited. It's not good. This one will not hold. It's coming for this one. clearly fresh and non-mitigated. But then this one still has like a comma. But then if at all I want to place a proper buy that I'm going to be like 70% sure that it should hold, it's definitely this one. This one I can guarantee you that anytime price comes back there'll definitely be a reaction, and this should be your target. That's 5 hour. The price market should definitely come back for this area. This might not hold. This might not hold. This might not hold. Let's see, let's see, let's see. This looks very, very, this looks very good. This is very good for EOGPO. If at all I'm trying to buy, as I'll be buying from, as I'll be buying from, as the most value setup for this. But if you're trying to trade lower time frame, you might get bumped because there's nothing really clear, except you're trying to sell back to that entry. So if peradventure, what I'll look out for this is if peradventure we get a break here. So this is what I will do to align with my overall trend. If I see a clear break here, then I'll most likely be looking to sell from here. I'll look to sell from here. Then I'll use this as my inducement on the lower time frame. So I'll most likely now have something like this. But this will be me forcing a trade though. Then anywhere it starts from, that's where I'll put my take profits. But then for me to place this sell, I need to see a break of structure first. So even though I anticipate I should get back there, so you can see still aligned on the lower time frame. But then I'll be looking towards buying from here. But you can clearly see that this still aligns with what I'm looking at. But before I can say this area is valid, I need to see a break of structure first. So after the break of structure, I expect price to come back for that area. Although it is 50-50, remember it's lower time frame trade. And once it doesn't give you that, you delete your order. So don't leave your order down. The only one I can leave down is this 1 hour that I just showed you now. This will most likely not hold. It has been mitigated. So anything that makes it drop like this is coming for this area. It's coming for this. This is also valid too, but then it might not use it. I don't think it will use this. This was the most value because it's like the origin of all the major bullish movements. This is the origin, so it should hold. So I spend more time on EG. Let's go to EU. So this one just decided to ignore this entry, although it was on the lower time frame. But looking at this 1 hour now, you can clearly see that the price is reacting from this other block. And it has still not been broken. Even though the 3 hour, I caught the 3 hour on this, so let me show you. I caught it on the 15 minutes. So I marked this out, then I went to the 15 minutes. I looked at that other block here, then I marked it out. So I always try to show, is it workings that people used to call it, the Gen Zs? Because me, I am not a Gen Z, I'm a millennial. Right, so I'll just try to show you how I got that. So I picked my other block. I used the 15 minutes OB, picked up my SA, and I targeted just 3 hour. My target was just 3 hour, and the market did normal. It triggered overnight though. Triggered yesterday, then it closed in the morning, all thanks to Trump. So that was how I got this 3 hour. So as it stands now, nothing concerns me with the market because this has been used multiple times. So I just want to observe. So today it has tested it again multiple times. So today I'm just on observation mode. I haven't placed another on EU. But if I thought this area holds, this should be where it should be targeting, and that's 5 hour. Pass like that. So this should be your target. It should be your target. If this later holds, although I do not place a re-entry, but if I wanted to place a re-entry, I could have still used this as my inducement. And that was what it did too. Could have used this as inducement. And expect price to get here. This is 5 hour. So let's see if it holds or not. But I don't have any other thing on this apart from this. If it does not hold, then we'll see what happens. I was looking at the bottom to be a long sell, probably back to this side, probably back to this area. But as it stands, it looks most likely to hold based on this rejection. But then it's not my daddy's market. So let's see how that goes. So next is GG. So this one is still retesting and retesting. Very annoying packet. Don't know what I want to do to this play. It has failed to break this area since. And it kept retesting the demand area. So you're still observing. Like I said, repeat what works. Don't force trades. There's nothing to force here. It has not decided what it wants to do yet. It has not broken the demand and has not gotten to the target. It's just there. But we keep observing. So there's nothing much. We already touched this yesterday. So it's still as it is. from yesterday. Despite all the Trump brouhaha and everything, it still did not get to the target and it did not break the demand zone. So that's just it for GJ, nothing much on GJ. And the next is GU. So this one, I caught the buy after the sale did like we, I think I posted it on the group also. But this is where I'm anticipating price for, and now I can clearly see an inducement. So I expect price to come for these two areas. Even though this looks most valid for me, I prefer this. I prefer this one. I prefer this one. If at all I want to enter this trade, I'll most likely use this. Those that understand candlestick pattern, they know this pattern very well. That's a traditional candlestick. I think it's morning star or evening star. I can't really remember. But then all I know is that once price gets back there, you should buy because it signifies strength for the buyers. So if at all I'm trying to buy GU and I want to be confident enough to leave it, this is where I'll be buying from, not this one. This looks most valid. You should most likely use this. So this one might be a trap for early buyers. That will be a trap for early buyers. It doesn't even look that good. So just be a trap for early buyers. And you can still use this as your inducement too. So I feel like that might just be a trap. But then this is the one I will confidently take. This is the one I'll confidently take without thinking twice because it has broken multiple resistance. Because it has broken multiple resistance. So for me, this is the one I'll be picking. But then I can always say it is not my daddy's market. So, but this is what I'll be looking out for. And that's the 20 pips SL for 140 pips TP. That's 7 hours. So that's that. I'll drop the screenshot of all these things on the group. Then the next one is USDHF. This one clipped nicely, like very, very nicely. But since then, I've not really seen anything that makes sense. Some played out nicely. I showed you guys yesterday. But since then, I've not really seen anything that interests me yet. I've not really seen anything that interests me yet on this play. And when you're trading USDHF, just know that you won't see setups like that. You might see maybe 2 in a week. That will be solid though. Maybe 2 in a week. But let me see. Based on this. Has it tapped it? You see if it tapped it. Okay, it hasn't. So this is valid. This is quite valid. I'll be looking for a buy around here. I'm looking for a buy around here. So I'll just mark it together. So avoid being stop wanted. That's another thing. I'm a very conservative trader. And you can see, despite the conservativeness, you still get 4 hours regardless. So you can see. So if at all, this is the only reasonable setup on this way. That's the only reasonable setup. And if it breaks here, because this has been mitigated, completely. So that is what makes this area valid. And this has also been mitigated by that other block that I just marked. And it touched 50% of it. So this should hold. Normally, following my trading rule, this should hold. But if it breaks here, this will not hold. This will not hold. It's just break it. And you probably look for probably a 4 hour. Because for this to now hold, you have to see a break of this area. That's the only thing that will make that area hold. Do you understand? That's why I went to the 4 hours to show you. For this to hold, if price comes back there has to be a break of structure here. And once it's breaking structure, it's entering into another higher time frame supply. See it sitting pretty there. Mark this sense. Mark this sense. Very sitting. This one very valid. There will be rejection there, like no story. This one, no story. That's why I marked it down. So as you are trading lower time frame, always look at the higher time frame so that you won't be trading against a strong bullish or bearish order block. Do you understand? Very, very important. But for this to be valid in the long run, there has to be a break here. Then it must not get here. 2 things. If it breaks here and gets here, this will not hold though. This will not hold. But if it breaks this area and doesn't get to this main supply, then comes down, then it will most likely hold. So that is the rule for myself. But that is that. But I'm trading the lower time frame. So this is what I'm looking. This is what I'm looking towards on the 1 hour. It looks very valid. Considering this, and this high. So let's see. And this inducement. So let's see what the market decides. So, and it even becomes more valid if it breaks before coming back. It becomes more valid. But then this is a good buy setup on this pin. My time is almost gone. For UJ, this one too is already running. Currently running. It's a 7 hour setup. Me, I'm already out. I would always say the truth. I'm already out of this trade at 3 hours. Nothing concerns me with whatever happens after. Then I'll just observe and see. But that is my own trading rule. This was how we got the entry. I shared it yesterday. No, I shared it last week. This was last week's trade. I shared the setup last week, I think on Thursday or Friday. But Thursday, I didn't share on Friday, it was on Thursday. I shared the setup on Thursday. I shared it on Thursday. So it's still running. It has already done my own three. That I said it's supposed to fill that imbalance. Because I remember I said it on Friday morning that it's supposed to fill that imbalance. But let's see what the market decides to do. It still has to fill. It has filled half. Remember, I said it that it needs to fill half of that imbalance, and it has filled half. So now that it has filled half, it can do anything from there, but it must always fill 50%. Once it heads back into the direction of that imbalance, it usually has to fill 50%. And it has done that already. So from here now, it can do anything. So it might not even get back here. And that's just the bitter truth. So, but then why am I deleting that one? I'm already out of this trade. So I'm just observing to see what the markets will do. So I don't have any setup. There's really nothing that makes sense here. Nothing for now. But let me remove this and see. There's really nothing. There's a break. There's another break. Okay, let's see. I think it came for this, but it didn't get there now. So it gave a mini uptrend. Didn't get there. What did it? Oh, it did though. Let me see. It must have been a reason why I marked that area. So it did well. Came for this one. So that's another setup. And did it do it here? Observing, you have got this actually. So that's another possible setup. But then it has already played out. It has already played out. This one has played out. Has played out already. It has even finished what it wants to do, safe. So it has finished what it wants to do. And it has failed to break. So it should most likely continue selling back to this area here. So I'll have sold actually. Will have sold after that rejection. I've sold. But then there's nothing here for now. I won't be looking for anything. Probably till tomorrow. So let's go to gold and we end today's session. So the thing is that gold has failed to get to the higher time frame supply. Let me show you. I have this down since you can see it did not tap it. It hasn't tapped into that area properly. And that's why it's trying to get there. So until price gets into this area, I won't be looking for anything. So normally if I wanted to sell, I'll be waiting to sell from this area. And the reason is because it is a major supply zone. There's multiple rejection and there's bound to be multiple rejection there because there's inducement for that area now. Can clearly see it. So it still needs to get back properly inside. So once it gets inside and I see a rejection, then I'll be selling back to my true demand points of interest around here. So this is what I'll be looking out for. These are the setups I have. But then once it gets into the supply, I'll sell to this area. Like that's just what I'll be doing. I'll most likely be selling them. But if it does not get there and come back here, then this is where you should be buying from. You can actually buy from me. So remember how I've been saying my rule, if this does not happen, so that's how you have a structure. You need to have what works for you. So I've seen this play out over time. So if this does not get broken, then this other block would hold. You will see. 7 out of 10 times, if that area, if it does not get broken and it comes back, this should buy. Then it will most likely now break this and enter into the supply. Then I'll now start looking for sell positions on the lower time frame. But if it comes back here, this should definitely hold. This should definitely hold. And the reason is because it created a break of structure. It broke 2 areas. It broke this and broke this too. So it is a valid area to look for buy. So you shouldn't be rushing into any setup for now. Should not rush into any setup for now. So either wait for the higher time frame supply zone, or it comes back into this 30 minutes order block, or it just comes down back to this 1 hour order block. So you react, you don't predict. So I want to see what the market will do now. I have my points of interest. I just need to see what the market will do once it gets to those points of interest. Do you understand? If one was, you can clearly see that this is a valid 1 hour, but because it is 30 minutes, it has been reduced down to this level. But then once market enters this place, it can decide to buy from anywhere here also. So that's where looking at it on the lower time frame comes in. But this is a valid 1 hour order block. So this also can be very, very valid because it created a break of structure. So, and remember, the overall trend is still bullish. You can clearly see a shift, a break of structure, and another break of structure. So this area very valid for a buy, and there's inducement. Sure, you get. So you just have to be reactive. This is very valid for a buy into the supply zone. But if it does not get there and it breaks this, it's coming for this origin. So you can use any of those two and push back towards the supply zone. But one thing I can guarantee is that the price will not leave this area. There will be a reaction in any of these 4 areas that I marked. So it's now left for me to now join the movement or wait for proper confirmations before entering. So that will be all. The screenshot will be dropped on the group. The recorded version will be dropped on our YouTube channel, and the link should be dropped before 11 or 12 thereabouts. So that'll be all for now. Enjoy the rest of your day. Our next session will be on Thursday. I don't do breakfast sessions on Wednesdays and on Fridays because I don't trade on Fridays. So it is a waste of time for me trying to analyze when I will not trade, because it will make me want to enter the market to trade. And as a human being that I am, an imperfect one, I know not to tempt myself, which is why I don't do sessions on Fridays. But on Wednesdays, I usually have engagements in the morning, so I will not have time. So our breakfast sessions are Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays only. Then Sundays are for market outlook into the new week. So that'll be all for now. Enjoy the rest of your day.